Okay, there was a question about what is the paper that I use to wrap around, what's the thickness of that, and wouldn't that change the spacing? And yes, it would. Very, very slightly. So I'm going to go through the calculations here and show you the difference. And right now that is 5 inches and 45 thousandths. These are the numbers that we use. And that turned out to be 15 inches, 849.3, right? And the 50 spacings of that would be 316.9. That's what we use. In all reality, that tape is 4 thou. So to add to the diameter on both sides, so you add 8 thou to this. So now you got 5 inches, 53, right? So we take the calculator, and we take, because I can't do it in my head, 5 inches, 53 times pi equals, now instead of 15 inches 849.3, we come up with 15 inches 874.4, right? And we take and divide that by our 50 spacings, we come up with 0.317, and if I round it off, it'd be 5. All right, so we spaced it at 316.9, so that's 6/10 error in the spacing, which, like I've said before, this gear isn't going to run high RPM, so I think even with a 6/10 spacing error, we'll be fine. It's always been fine for me in the past. But that is something to keep in mind, that whatever your thickness of your paper, add it to your diameter, double that and add it to your diameter, then that'll give you the true exact reading. So you are correct that will change the spacing. So anyway, it's not going to change it enough for me to go back and redo that. It's fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. So now we're going to cut our gears, and we have to cut them to, I got to remember what depth it was. 50 tooth is 112.5 thou. So the tooth depth is 112.5. That's what we're going to shoot for. And I guess, I think somebody had mentioned that once before, and I never sat down and figured it out, but like I say, that's something to keep in mind when you do your spacing around it. It'll be 6/10 error. You add that up. You add that up over the distance, and you've got 15 inches, 874.4, and subtract the 15 inches 849.3. So you got 25 thou error over the whole length. So, and even at 25 thousandths, if you go slightly deeper, you're gonna be fine. I'm not worried. I'm pretty sure it'll be just fine. So we're gonna march forward and continue on. Right now I have some things that I have to go do out in the yard, but hopefully today sometime I will get, and I'm thinking about putting it on the NC machine. It'll be just taking this in 2 cuts. It'll just it'll just go in, across, about, more, back in, across, and out, and index. So it's just it'll be just a little short little program, you know, where the gear and the cutter will come in and go across it and move out, move back, come in the finished depth, and then go across, and then it'll come back to the park spot. It'll be parked over here, and it'll start all over and do it again. That way all I gotta do is just push the start button and it'll go and do it, rather than cranking. Of course, I don't have to crank to a number either. Do I want to do it on the NC, or do I want to do it on the only thing on the NC is I won't have to be real careful with my climb cut, because I'll climb cut across that and come out, back over, climb cut. Do it manually? Yeah, I think maybe I will. I'll decide. But anyway, I gotta go do some stuff out in the yard, so I'll be back when I get time to come back into the shop. Catch you later. Okay, after thinking about this paper width, the paper thickness, let me try to run something back across, it's an interesting question. Will the paper thickness affect it? Well, you got to remember, let's just exaggerate. Here's what we're going to wrap it around, right? And then we're going to exaggerate. Here's the paper thickness. We're going to say that that's 4 thousandths. The error can't be more than 4 thousandths, because that paper length meets right here. So if it meets at the bottom, it can. That would be the only error, and it'll never be more than. It won't even be 4 thousandths of error. And matter of fact, it'd be more like 2 thousandths of error. Well, you take that 2 thousandths of error and divide that by 50. Now that's what you've got for error, 0.00004. Yeah, 0.00004 error. That's how I'm seeing it now. And after thinking about it for a little while, that thickness. I mean, you can't have, like I figured here, would be 25 thousandths. That may be so, but if that was the case, the paper would end up kind of like that. You know, and that's not how they come together. They come together with a pretty small gap. I mean, a very small gap. You can't hardly see it. It comes together. It comes together more like that. You know, way less than the 4/1000. And I'm just giving it. I'm giving it benefit of a doubt by going to that it's saying that it's 2/1000. So I'm not going to worry about it. Why? I wasn't worried about it before. I'm just trying to explain it and trying to get it straight in my head. So anyway, you know, the paper wraps around. So the inside width of the paper is going to touch to each other because that's the length of the circumference. So that means that the error isn't that much. So anyway, I'm going to set up, and I've decided I'm going to set it up on the NC. I'm going to set it up to do the strokes or the cutting on the NC. So I haven't had that running in a long time. Get some stuff off of it. We'll swing you around here. Oh, I gotta turn it on. It's not. Like I say, it hasn't been turned on or plugged in or anything in days. The battery inside my computer for it, the little watch battery in the inside on the motherboard, it has gone dead, so it won't fire up right away. It's going to give me an error. Okay, so I have to go Control-Alt-Delete to bypass that error. And I have to do that probably a couple times in order to get it to come up. Come on. You can do it. Now it'll sit like that. It should come up this time. There we go. And I'm running Windows XP. And I think it gets stuck on this screen also, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. All right. Close that. We're going to open up a text file. New text document. And we're going to call that gear. 50 gear. 50 gear. Oops. Forgot that. I want to keep the text. Okay. 50T gear. Alright, and we're going to open that up, and we're going to go write our little program. And I don't know if you can see it or not. If the glare from the light is on there so much. I mean, lower, yeah. I'm just trying to find a spot where the glare isn't so much. How about there? Can you see? I don't think you can. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and type out the program here, because I don't think you're going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to video this with the light on and everything, and I can't turn that light out. Doesn't have a switch to turn it out. All right, so anyway, the main part of this video was to try to explain my thoughts on the thickness of a paper being an error that's in this that's going to cause any problems, and obviously not. I still am thinking about drilling and tapping a hole right here so that I can make a little pointer. So I may do that before I go ahead and set up. I'll just set this up in the mill over there and drill and tap a hole right there, like a number 8 or number 10 screw. So anyway, I didn't post the first part of this video, so I'll put the two together where I was trying to explain it here by doing a different circumference with the thickness of the paper, you know, and that came out to be 25 thousandths, which there's no way that there's a 25 thou gap looking at it like this, you know, looking at it with the thickness of the paper coming together. So there's like I say, there's two ways of looking at it. This is the logical way of looking at it right here, but this is the physical way that it comes out to be. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up, or write the program and then start setting up, and then I'll be back.